Good evening, everybody. It is good to see you all. What a week 9 it was. We had a lot of fun. We got a lot to get into here tonight on Biscuits and SEC Live. This is our 57th show, and every show we do, I just can't believe how long it's been going, and we're really thankful that all of you guys are with us, and the channel's growing, Twitter's growing, all that. So we're really, really happy about that and really thankful that all of you are along for the ride with us. Hammer, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing great. We had yet another incredible week of football on the gridiron and an eventful one off of it down in Baton Rouge, to say the least. So I'm excited to chat through it. I'm doing great, as you said. Exciting stuff. We're growing. Things are good. So appreciate all y'all tuning in.
No doubt. 3 straight weeks of major coaching changes in college football. We will get into the latest one in just a second. We're also excited to welcome Cornbread Cowboi, Orry Lee Kennedy. We have followed him for a long time. Love his videos. He's hilarious. If you don't follow Cornbread Cowboi on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, you ought to go check it out because you will sit there and watch his videos just scrolling his shorts for an hour. So we're really looking forward to having him on. As always, everybody, before we get into it, biscuitsandsec.com/newsletter. Sign up for the Morning Biscuits newsletter. We do everything across the SEC that's going on. We keep you guys informed of what's coming up with injury reports and such going into the weekend, so you're caught up, ready to go for all the action on Saturday. And then we recap all the action on Monday as well and just get you caught up on all the latest news across the SEC and across the country. And it's free to sign up. So we hope you will go and sign up for the newsletter. We've got a bunch of great feedback on it recently as well. So just want to thank everybody as well for reading it. As always, we are sponsored here by the Steer Agency. Thank you to those guys for sponsoring the show. And Hammer, I say we get it rocking and rolling because we got to bring Orry in here right around 6:25 Central Time. And we got a lot of news to get to. Bunch of games and the big news of the day. Of the days.
We agree, Mike.
Good point, Mike. That's the truth. Big news of the day or the days, Sunday. What an absolute crazy day it was in Baton Rouge. Everybody seemed like was refreshing Twitter constantly every 15 minutes. As soon as the first report broke that there was potentially a buyout, there was a crazy meeting between Brian Kelly and Scott Woodward. And then it all just evolved from there. And by 8 p.m., he was driving into the facility and driving out after 5 minutes. And just like he came in, he was out quickly in the night and on his way to the next date with his family. So, I mean, talk me through it a little bit. What were your initial thoughts on it and where we are today? It's been a wild, wild ride to get here to where we are on Wednesday from where we were on Sunday.
It has. Similar to, honestly, I would say the James Franklin news a few weeks back, this one really caught me by surprise. We knew, similar to James Franklin, that the fan base was out on Brian Kelly. They chanted last season to fire him during the Alabama game. And the way that game went down on Saturday night with A&M just belt to ass at the second half, just an absolute beatdown in Tiger Stadium. It emptied out. The broadcast just heaping praise on Elko and A&M and what they were doing to Brian Kelly and kind of the way Kelly was handling himself, which is not new for Brian Kelly, but just, it did not paint him in a good light.
No.
On prime time. And I think, you read and listen to, as we have a lot of stuff since that news broke, and it just felt like going into that game, he was about to be, or like he was on the hot seat, but they weren't going to fire him, but then just the way that game happened, like if they lose that game in a different manner, he still has a job, but just the way that it went down in Tiger Stadium with a coach, and you and I talked a lot about this with our own guy, Jimbo, back in the day, but it's really, really frustrating as a fan or an AD or apparently a governor when you have a coach like Mike Elko in year 2 beating the tar out of your team when your coach is in year 4, right? And there's really no excuse for that. So I'm still shocked that they did this and came up with that kind of buyout money, but it just became very clear very quickly that Brian Kelly had absolutely zero goodwill built up, again, within the administration. We knew the fan base was not a big fan of his really from the very beginning, and people said that they were never really going to like him because none of his fan bases have ever really liked him. I mean, even Notre Dame, I think a lot of their fans would say they were glad to see him leave. So that didn't, we knew that dynamic, but I was surprised within the building. It felt like how little backing he had. And when this happened, it just felt like as soon as they confirmed they could come up with the money, they wanted to move on. And I don't know. It's a sign of the times. Big buyouts. Patience is wearing very, very, very thin across a lot of these college campuses. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but he's gone.
We have talked about it for years, how college football is a win now culture, and it is more so now than ever. I mean, he had a winning record overall, 34-14, 19-10 in the SEC, won an SEC regular season in his first year. But then the lows were pretty low. I mean, you kind of wasted Jaden Daniels. You got Jaden Daniels. You had defenses that just couldn't figure it out for 2 years with him. You had, a Heisman Trophy that Jaden Daniels wins. Don't get a national championship out of that. And LSU is a place where you better win very quickly. The last 3 head coaches have won national titles by year 4. So we're in year 4, and this was supposed to be your national title team with Garrett Nussmeier coming back. You got all these guys in the portal. You spent a bunch of money to do all that. You got Blake Baker as a defensive coordinator in his second year now, right? This is supposed to be the year. And then they come out and the offense is just anemic. I mean, they can't score more than 24 points to save their life. And the defense has played very well for the most part. And then just everything falls apart in that Texas A&M game. I mean, you go into the locker room, you got them on their heels, 18-14, everything is going wrong for A&M. Like that looks like, deer in the headlights looks on some of the guys, on the sideline for A&M, except for Marcel Reed, except for Mike Elko. And you're thinking, all right, like we got them on the ropes. Like we can get the number 3 team in the country, and we don't like these guys. We don't like A&M. We don't like all the milkmen stuff. They make fun of A&M all the time. So they want to stick it to them. And what does A&M do? They come out in the second half and they just rock 'em, sock 'em robots, just boom, 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 right to the face constantly, just over and over again. And that's a very proud fan base. And so to watch what was supposed to be a national championship team this year, which Brian Kelly said, by the way, in the preseason, he was keeping receipts and he was, just what we're going to, when we win the national championship, we're keeping receipts, just so you know. Well, as you said in the preseason, you pick these guys to go 8-4. It might even get worse than that because the wheels have completely fallen off. And then the governor got involved. And that's what really got the ball rolling. There was a tweet that was from Governor Jeff Landry in Louisiana, and he really got the whole thing rolling. And we've got the clip of him from today if folks haven't seen it, and I'll play that in just a second. But here's the graphic here. Brian Kelly at LSU, 34-14 overall, 19-10 in the SEC, bowl games 3-0. But take a look at what those bowl games were. No college football playoff appearance in there, you might notice. Citrus Bowl, ReliaQuest Bowl, Texas Bowl. Well, LSU doesn't like to play in the Cheez-It Bowl. They could give less of a darn about any of these bowls. They play for keeps, they play for the college football playoff, and they play for national titles. So that doesn't matter. Home games at night, 20-1 until Mike Elko walked in there. And as he said in his postgame press conference, he corrected the reporter, 20-2 in night games. And ranked opponents, 5-11. That's the stat right there. Circle that stat. 5-11 against ranked opponents. That eventually is what got Brian Kelly fired from LSU, along with, I think, the arrogance. And like you said, there was no goodwill with the fan base pretty much from day one. So he had to win a bunch of games. He had to win a whole bunch of my games.
Yeah.
A lot of that me, my talk from Brian Kelly, which I think was a problem. So here is Governor Jeff Landry talking today about the LSU opening now and what it looks like going forward. I think it's pretty interesting. So here it is.
I wanted to tell you something. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now that wrote that contract cost Texas A&M $70-something million. Right now, we got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. And you know what? I believe that we're going to find a great coach. I mean, maybe we'll let President Trump pick it. He loves winners. You know, I'm not going to be picking the next coach. But I can promise you, we're going to pick a coach, and we're going to make sure that that coach is successful. And we're going to make sure that he's compensated properly. And we're going to put metrics on it. Because I'm tired of rewarding failure in this country and then leaving the taxpayers on the foot, to foot the bill. So, yeah, I absolutely. Who's that? No. I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. Hell, I'll let Donald Trump select it before I let him do it. I don't know, but the Board of Supervisors is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to go find us a coach. Because, wait, I want to hold on. One real quick thing on that. Because here's what y'all reporters need to do. Y'all need to start looking at who represents all these people. Like these agents. You know what's interesting? If I'm not mistaken, Woodward's agent, Kelly's agent, the Texas A&M, they're all the same agent. Like, you realize if I would be, I don't know how many sports writers we got here today? Just you. We should have a bunch. Okay? Like, this is ridiculous. Lawyers would be disbarred for the way these agents act and the way they're able to represent.
So there it is from Governor Jeff Landry. He's telling you right there that Scott Woodward, the current athletic director at LSU, will not be making the decision to hire the next football coach at LSU. So, I mean, that kind of tells me that Scott Woodward's days are numbered as well. And I think there's going to be somebody else. And now the governor's fully involved in whatever's going on at LSU. LSU does not have a president right now. They are hoping to hire one very, very soon. But there is just a lot in flux down in the bayou right now. What was your takeaway from what Landry said today?
First of all, I love his accent. I mean, it couldn't fit better for the governor of LSU with the last name Landry to have a thick Cajun accent. So that's fantastic. But, secondly, when the news was breaking and the people that were breaking the news, I think I was reaching out to you saying, like, where's Woodward? All you're hearing is the governor is not staging a coup because he's not going after his job. But it's like, seems like the governor's calling the shots here. And you brought it up. They don't have a president. Seems like they don't have an athletic director. Again, he's currently employed there, but obviously it feels like his days are numbered. And if the governor has anything to say about it, he won't have anything to do with the next head coach, which, kind of puts him on a timeline of a month where, he's not going to have a job. So I don't know. My takeaway is college football is awesome. Where else are you going to get a governor giving a press conference about firing the head football coach of the flagship university? But at the same time, on that note, another takeaway would be there are a lot of really good jobs open. We talked about, Penn State, Florida, Virginia Tech, Arkansas. There's a lot of proud programs with jobs open, and LSU absolutely. I'm not going to get into the debating of between that or Penn State or Florida. I really don't care. I think they're all very good jobs, and beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people are going to favor one over the other, and that's their own prerogative. But whether they need to hire a president, like whatever they need to do, and I'm not blaming the governor for getting involved here. Again, I don't think firing Brian Kelly was a bad decision, but no head coach wants this. Nobody wants the governor having press conferences about their team. Nobody wants a unknown athletic director, an unknown president. I mean, we talk about this with A&M because A&M has had like 5 presidents in the last 8 years or something crazy, multiple athletic directors. And think about it in your job, sitting back at home. How would you like it if every 2 to 3 years your boss was turned over, or you're potentially going to take a job and you don't know who your boss is, and you don't know who your boss's boss is? So LSU's a fantastic job, but they have to get things in line behind the scenes because I think, like Lane Kiffin, let's use him as an example. That's who reportedly LSU wants. That's who Florida wants. A lot of schools would want Lane Kiffin. I have no idea what Lane Kiffin's going to do, but he has a very, very, very cushy setup in Ole Miss where everyone loves him. He's got the ear of the administration. He knows his AD. He knows, like he's in a great spot. And yeah, LSU's got some things certainly historically that Ole Miss doesn't, but are you going to leave everything you've done and built at Ole Miss to jump into that when you don't know a lot about what, that job is going to entail and who your bosses are going to be? So I think they got to get their ducks in a row because I think that could scare some people off. Despite how good of a job it is, I think that definitely plays a role for someone like Lane. Of course, if you're going to hire a coordinator or a G6 coach, they probably don't care. But if you're going to take a big swing, guys are going to be worried about that.
No, I think you're right. The other part of this too, I'll say this quickly because then we got to move on to games here. But the governor got a lot wrong in what he talked about today. Scott Woodward was not responsible for the buyout that Jimbo got. He was responsible for the original contract. Ross Bjork, now at Ohio State, he's the one who was responsible for the massive buyout that Jimbo eventually did get. Jimbo Fisher and Brian Kelly do not share an agent. And also folks were pointing out that if you really want to get Lane Kiffin, you probably shouldn't be talking about investigating his agent, who is Jimmy Sexton. So anyway, yeah, we'll see. It's going to be wild, but yeah, man, what an incredible drama that is unfolding in Baton Rouge. I tweeted this on Biscuits SEC, better than any daytime TV or reality TV you will ever watch. College football, the drama never stops. All right. Let's just move right into the game that got Brian Kelly fired. The final nail in the coffin for Brian Kelly. That was the Aggies going into Death Valley and absolutely stomping LSU. I mean, it's hard to even understate how much of a whooping this was. The final score was 49-25, but it was 49-18. And that final touchdown for LSU came with Michael Van Buren, President Michael Van Buren to me, who got that last touchdown for LSU in garbage time. I mean, this was the second half.
Oh, yeah.
An explosion from A&M on the offensive side. And I think it was like, I wrote this in the newsletter. I added it up. I can't remember exactly. I think it was like 19 total yards in the second half for LSU before the garbage time when they put in Michael Van Buren and went on that final drive. So this LSU or this A&M defense, unbelievable. Cassius Howell played out of his mind. They were on that LSU offensive line, which we thought would happen going into the game all night. And Garrett Nussmeier was just living on his back. It looked like he was just going to sleep every other play because somebody, put him in the turf and he was just eating grass all night. So, give me some of your thoughts on this game because it was pretty unbelievable to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was. We're Aggies, obviously. So there's a lot of maroon Kool-Aid that gets drunk behind the scenes. We try to keep it as unbiased as we can on the show. But, I don't think we've said this year, but my takeaway coming away from this was A&M is a bona fide national title contender. And at this point in the season, that's not something that we have even been able to say in my lifetime, right? 30 years old, A&M has not been this good this late in the season in my entire life. And so, of course, as a fan, that's exciting, but just about, what's going on the field. We've talked about it pretty much week in and week out, but this A&M team is incredibly resilient. They are mentally tough. You brought it up. LSU was winning this game at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it due to A&M unforced errors. So they're not a perfect team. They're not playing flawless football, but the mental makeup of this team and the talent that they have, in my opinion, I think they can beat anybody. I'm not saying they're better than Ohio State. I'm not saying they're better than Indiana, but I think neutral site 60-minute game, they have a very good chance to win because on offense, they have one of the best offensive lines in the country. They showed it again. LSU basically didn't get any push, didn't have any, Marcel Reed had time to throw. They have a very good running back room. It'll only get better if and when Le'Veon Moss comes back. Marcel Reed is playing well. He is prone to mistakes, as we saw, the 2 interceptions, but overall he's playing very well. And he brings a run threat, which not all teams can say, right? He ran for over 100 yards in this game. He gashed LSU, 13 carries for over 100 yards. Their wide receivers are dynamic. Casey Concepcion, another punt return TD, so they're good in special teams. Mario Craver is great on the outside. Ashton Bethel-Roman is emerging recently. He had that unbelievable one-hand catch.
Yeah.
So their receiving room is extremely, extremely talented. Their tight ends are great in the run game blocking. They have multiple touchdowns. They use 3 different tight ends. Like their offense is just so multiple, versatile on every level. They're extremely hard to defend. They just put up 49 points on the road against a good LSU defense.
Yeah.
And then defensively, it's kind of similar. Again, I don't know that they are, well, certainly not, at least statistically, they're not the best unit in the country, but they have one of the best pass rushers in the country, Cassius Howell, who can change a game on his own. As a unit, the defensive line is very good. They rotate a ton of guys in. They're deep. They have TJ Searcy pops up multiple sacks in this game. DJ Hicks is coming on. He's been great in the run and at getting after the passer. He had a sack in this game. Albert Regis is a 5th or 6th year senior in the middle. Like, they have a lot of dudes at linebacker. Torian York playing like an All-American. Damian Sanford fills in for Scooby Williams. Well, now he starts and play. Scooby's back in the lineup, but he basically got his spot taken away because Sanford's been playing lights out. And then in the secondary, again, they're not perfect, but they're very good. And there's really, I guess, Notre Dame and somewhat Arkansas took advantage of that. But I think Arkansas was a lot more, green with his legs. But they can beat you in a shootout. They can beat you in a rock fight. I mean, that's a really good team. And, to me, that was the story. Obviously, Brian Kelly ends up getting fired, but we talked about it going into it. On paper, A&M was the better team. The only thing that scared us was the Death Valley at night factor, and ultimately wasn't much of a factor. So I was really impressed with A&M, and I think they are, as it stands now, the best team in the SEC, and things can change. The month of November hasn't been kind to A&M, but at the moment, it's hard to doubt what A&M is doing.
Yeah, and you look at their remaining schedule, and you have to feel good if you're an Aggie. I mean, you're 8-0 for the first time since 1992, and you've got 4 games, and you get 2 to get into the playoff. You can lose 2 to get into the playoff, and all the games that you have looking forward, you feel good about winning all 4 of them. You're going to get Sanford, and then you got Texas, who's looking meh. We'll see, but that's in Austin, as always. So that, as always, that will be tough, to go into Austin to get a win. But South Carolina, Missouri is now without their quarterback. So we'll see. Everything is in front of A&M. They're a very good team, as you said. The biggest thing that I took away from it was that the mentality of this team is different. And I think that this really confirmed it this weekend. We've talked about it. It seems different. Elko, everything looks different, whatever. But it is different this year. And that team stared Death Valley in the face, down 4 at halftime, playing the awful football. So many mistakes, mistake after mistake after mistake, when in the past, an A&M team like that would have folded like an accordion on Bourbon Street. And this time they did not. They came out in the second half and they just took it to them. So Elko has instilled an incredible culture in this team, and they really can win it all. And we'll see where it goes from here. All right, let's get to a couple other games here before we get to Orry, and then we may have to get to a couple on the backside here. But Ole Miss and OU. Ole Miss is back in the winning column here, which is awesome for them. OU, things are starting to get shaky. It's looking rough as we go a little bit further down the road for them. Their schedule is not looking good, and they are not looking great either. They fought back hard in this game, but Ole Miss, good culture there. Trinidad Chambliss played well, and they were able to get a win. So give me your thoughts on the win in Norman for Ole Miss.
Yeah, big road win coming off the tough loss at Georgia to kind of get off the mat. And, in terms of the Lane Kiffin, Brent Venables debate, I sided with Lane Kiffin. I thought the whole time watching that game, they looked like the better team. And Oklahoma, to their credit, fought back, took the lead late in the third, and Had a couple of explosive plays on offense, that Satania touchdown and the long 60-plus yard run for a touchdown were great, but it just, Mateer never found any rhythm. I think Ole Miss defense deserves a little bit of credit there for just making him uncomfortable. And then on the other side, man, Trinidad Chambliss, he's good. He's really good. He gave Oklahoma issues. He made plays downfield. Oklahoma's defensive line's very good, and they were bothering him, getting pressure on him, but he was able to, for the most part, either scramble and make some plays or just get out of the pocket and make a play downfield. So, yeah, I thought this was a great win for Ole Miss. That's a solid Oklahoma team, and to go on the road with a bunch of rain and wind and just a nasty forecast. I mean, they kind of took it to Oklahoma. Like I said, I think they were the better team pretty much for 60 minutes. They just had really two major slip-ups on defense that kept Oklahoma in it and allowed them to kind of come back on them. But that's an impressive win, and a big feather in the cap for Ole Miss as you look at their playoff hopes, their remaining schedule. It's very manageable, and they didn't necessarily need that one because they likely would get in at 10-2, but that really solidified their chances of being a bona fide, playoff contender and SEC contender. They still only have one loss in conference.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Ole Miss has everything in front of them, just like A&M. We got a lot of teams shaping up for the end of the year for the stretch run in the SEC to be a whole lot of fun. Georgia's still in it, Alabama's still in it, A&M, Ole Miss. It's going to be a lot of fun as we go down the stretch. All right, we got our man Orry Lee Kennedy, Cornbread Cowboi, here with us. So let's bring him on and let's get to some dadgum picks here. All right, let me get him on here. There he is, my man, Cornbread Cowboi. How you doing, man?
What's up, buddy? How y'all doing?
Hey, man, we're doing good. Thanks for coming on tonight, man. We've been watching your stuff for a long time.
Appreciate it, man. Hell yeah, dude. Good. Glad to be on here, man.
Yeah, we're big fans. We are big fans. So this is great.
Yeah,
Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, I remember seeing y'all. I don't know if it was Instagram or Twitter, like a couple years ago. Y'all gave me a shout out or something like that. I can't remember when it was, but I've been following y'all ever since, man. Y'all do a good job.
Good, man. We really appreciate that. Well, first of all, before we get into it, how's everything with Linda? Just give us an update on whatever. How's that going? It's always off and on, man. We don't know.
Hey, got to keep on the toes, man. You know how she is. She's running around town, being a town tramp. You know how she rolls, man. I'm out here by my lonesome self, so no Linda gonna be around this holiday season, I don't think.
Oh, man. Well, we're rooting for you, man. We're rooting for you. All right. If you guys don't follow Cornbread Cowboi over here, our friend Orry Lee Kennedy, go down there at Cornbread Cowboi. You can catch him on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube. And also check out his website. It's cornbreadcountryclub.com. If I got that right.
I got the old school grandpa hats, t-shirts, all kind of stuff, man. Blue blocker sunglasses, stickers, hats, koozies, all that. Just like anybody else, we got all that stuff. I'm sure Biscuits and SEC, y'all got something too.
We're cooking up something. I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
Yeah, send me something when you do, man.
I will, man. We certainly will.
Oh, yeah.
So check this out. If you don't follow him there, you got Cornbread Cowboi, cornbreadcountryclub.com. That's him right there. He's a big South Carolina Gamecocks fan, which we're about to talk about real quick. Coach Cornbread right there. In the facilities with Coach Shane Beamer. He's always on it with the defensive backs and run the dang ball. I know that.
Run the damn ball.
Okay, man. Well, right before we get into picks here, we ask all of our guests this. We know, as I said, you're a big Gamecocks fan. Give us a little pulse of the South Carolina fan base. I know it's been a difficult year to this point.
Yeah.
It's a tough loss last week. How are things going in Columbia? How you feeling?
Man, life of a Gamecock fan. I remember last season, everybody was like, man, we ain't going to win but 5 games with this schedule. I was like, I think we'll do better than that. And we had won 9 games, and this year I was like, oh, we're going to go undefeated. I'm like, pump your brakes a little bit. I mean, we got a lot of talent, and evidently we ain't got a lot of wins out of it this year. Down year, of course, for us. A lot of fans are kind of disappointed, wanting to fire every damn body. I mean, to me, the older I get, man, it's just the part of it, being a Gamecock fan, man. You just got to roll with the punches, and we usually will sneak out, 1 or 2 big wins a year. So I'm hoping Clemson and Texas A&M or Ole Miss will sneak out a dub and become bowl eligible. Man, that's all you can hope for.
That's right, man. Well, hey, look, we're both Aggies here, and so we hope you don't get the win against the Aggies, but also
Oh yeah, no, that's right. Hey, yeah, we can't do it. But I will tell you this, man. When I was growing up, Clemson and South Carolina really both were average or below average, and it made the rivalry better because you wouldn't win anything else. So the rivalry was just the biggest game of the year, and so that's going to be pretty cool.
There you go. Well, hey, man, we're used to the heartbreak too as Aggies. We're having a great year this year, but
no, y'all look damn good.
Well, we do. We look
feeling good.
Yeah.
Try not to
that
get
quarterback
y'all
got
down.
That's like
He's
Vince
all right.
Young Jr., but he's got a little more speed. He's
good.
He's all right, man.
He's real good.
All right, man. Let's get into some picks here. So here's the picker standings for everybody we've had on so far this year. Rivers Huey, Gabe Bach, Drew TAMU. Drew had a great week last week. He really crushed it. So congrats to him. And Ellie Mae and Emily Grace, Cruz, and Issa Bach there at 3-3. Daily Joy and Stingray, unfortunately, bringing up the caboose right now at 2-4. But Cornbread, there is still a 6-0 out there and a 5-1 to get to first place, man. So it's all out there for you if you can get it this week. So, Hammer, start us out here going to Vanderbilt and Texas. Vandy headed to Austin. I thought Vandy might be favored in this game. They're not. It's kind of close here. So set this one up.
Yeah, man, I'm interested to get your thoughts. So obviously, Vandy, great year, surprising for a program like that. They took it to your Gamecocks in Williams-Brice, so they can win on the road, right? So they're traveling to Austin. Arch Manning's maybe has a concussion. Don't know if he's going to play, but the Longhorns are 2.5-point favorites, despite, up to this point, I would say Vandy's been a better team. But what are your thoughts here? Do you think Vandy can get the upset or at least cover, or do you like Texas being at home, against a maybe less talented Vanderbilt team?
Yeah. I mean, Vanderbilt, have they played a bad game yet? I mean, even
really
against Alabama. Even against Alabama, they look good. And I guess that late touchdown. What did they lose to Alabama by? I think it was like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. Arch Manning, Texas finally starting like they got an offense, but I'm going to take Vandy in this game, man. I think the quarterback, Piago Davia. How the hell do you say Diego Pavia?
Pavia, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's the real deal, man. I think he just makes so fast decisions. He gets the ball. He knows what he wants to do with it right away. He just don't sit there. I think he's going to lead them to the playoffs for sure, and I don't think Texas is going to get in the way. So I'm taking Vandy in this game.
I love it. Yeah, Pavia is he's the type of guy you root for, right? Because he's underdog story, and he's just unfazed, man. It doesn't matter where he's playing, who he's playing. Like, he's going to bring his A game. So I love the pick.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's got that Baker Mayfield vibe to him,
He's like a mix of Baker and Johnny Manziel. That's kind of what
he is. He's confident, man. That's what you want in a quarterback. He's confident.
That's right, for sure. All right, now let's head down to Jacksonville for what we will always call here the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. And man, this one's interesting. I mean, look, Georgia looks like the much better team in this game. Billy Nathan's been fired, and but you saw Florida jump up and get Texas earlier this year. Can they do it again, against Georgia? What are your thoughts here on this game? And I think you got Georgia 7.5-point favorite here. It's the midday game, 3:30 on ABC.
Well, I thought Hammer was going to tell us what he thought first.
No, this is all you, man. You go get it.
Yeah. All me. All right, so I don't want to steal the show now. This is y'all's show, Biscuits.
No, man.
Hell, cornbread and biscuits. I mean, what you got, cornbread or biscuits? I think if it's before 10 a.m., we're going biscuits. But after that, cornbread all day, right?
That's right.
Easily.
Put some jalapenos in my cornbread, too.
Hell yeah. Hell, I'll eat both of them. But no, I'm taking Georgia, man. I think Georgia wins this by 3 touchdowns. I mean, Florida just fired a coach. I mean, I don't care if it's a neutral site or not. Georgia, I think they're just gonna walk the dog on Florida, pun intended.
Yeah,
So
I hear you on that one, man. We've talked about this too. Hammer and I both. The national media before the season was kind of like, we don't know about Gunnar Stockton, whatever.
yeah,
And we watched him in the SEC championship game and then in the college football playoff, and I was like, I don't know what people are seeing. I think this kid's pretty dadgum good. And he has been good. He played very well this season. So I think he's the better quarterback right now, I think, in this game.
Sure.
And so I think Georgia's got a real solid chance to do exactly what you said and cover the spread pretty easy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe. What was the spread? I think it was only like 7.5 or something.
Yeah, 7.5.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, I know neutral site rivalry, but I think Georgia wins by 3 touchdowns.
I know you're not a fan of either one of these schools, but this seems like your type of party. Have you ever been to this game? I mean, if you haven't,
world's largest cocktail party, man.
Yeah.
No, hey, Jacksonville, home of Skinner. Let's go. What's funny is the older I get, the more I want to go to more stadiums, baseball, football, NASCAR, whatever it may be. I went to, I want to go to this game. Eventually, I'm going to make it. I'm not sure if it. I know it wasn't always Halloween weekend, but Halloween weekend, that's like my favorite holiday. So I won't be making that game, but I'll definitely be watching.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. That is going to be a good time. We'll have when you go down there, man, let us know because we may just join you.
Yeah, hey, so do y'all live in Texas?
I'm in Texas. I'm in Austin, and Hammer's out there. He's in Colorado, actually. We're both from Texas.
Dude.
So.
I just moved to Colorado.
About Austin, dude. Don's Depot. Come on,
yes,
now.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I know. What's that other damn place? Deep Eddies.
Deep Eddies.
Cabaret.
Yeah,
the Cabaret.
Yeah.
They only sell like beer and liquor in there. I love that place, man.
That's a great spot, man. Yeah, you know it. You got it.
Yeah, boss man, you've got the big Deep Eddy trucker hat. You got to throw it on for him.
I do, man. I have to run and go get it. But yeah, it's in my closet across the house. But I do. I've got a Deep Eddy trucker hat for sure.
No, I love Austin, man. I'm gonna come out to Austin. I haven't been out there this year, but I usually go like once a year, so I'm gonna maybe make it out. I was there. Was it last year when y'all had that damn freeze over? It was like 20 degrees, man. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was not fun. Trust me, we don't like that here. We don't live here for any freezes. That's
Dude,
for sure.
Nobody. I was in San Antonio. Nobody was out. Like they shut down the schools. I was trying to go to the bar. The bar was closed. I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I went,
That's good stuff. Hey, man,
being a lonely South Carolina boy and damn San Antonio by yourself during that, it was kind of creepy, man. It was weird vibes.
Well, it gets cold. They just shut this whole state down.
Yeah, dude. They shut everything down. Nobody goes out. I was like, damn, I'm ready to party.
We don't want none of that cold, man. That's for sure. Well, hey, man, next time you come down to Austin, hit me up, man. We'll go down to Deep Eddy.
Damn right we will.
Damn right. All right, so let's get to our next one here. Hammer, set us up for Mississippi State and Arkansas.
Yeah, so both these teams are winless in the SEC. Arkansas, of course, with Bobby Petrino, riding his big motorcycle, his hog, and Mississippi State. I don't know. They've been pesky this year, right? They got a couple of close overtime losses. Arkansas's favored, though, by 4.5 here. So do you think Mississippi State can go up there and either cover or get an upset win, or do you think Arkansas and Bobby Petrino get their first SEC win? What's your thoughts here?
I tell you, my thoughts are, first of all, I love these two teams, man. Yeah, the pesky teams. I feel like, any game they played this year, they could have won. I mean, they both got good offenses. But they always seem to find a way to lose in the second half. This is a tough one. Do you know? It's 4.5 Arkansas. So
yeah,
I'm gonna think Arkansas is gonna win it just because they're at home. But I'm gonna take the points from Mississippi State on this. Probably, I think it's gonna be a really close game. Come down to the wire, high score. So I don't know what the over is, but if it's over 55, I'm taking it all damn day,
I like it. The extra, we'll give it the cornbread bonus in there, the over on the Mississippi State-Arkansas game.
Over in this game. Watch it. It's going to be like 17-10 or something.
That's usually how it goes, man, for sure. Mississippi State's got
I think the Razor
problems. Yeah. They keep dropping games late. Yeah,
I mean, like I said, Bobby Petrino, he's going to cook something up in Fayetteville. So,
yeah,
but I think Mississippi State covers.
Yeah, that Arkansas quarterback's good too. You were giving A&M quarterback props in that A&M Arkansas game. The Arkansas
Yeah,
quarterback,
it was.
Taylor
Hey,
Green,
so
man,
my pick
he was
is
dealing.
So does my pick go down for Arkansas or Mississippi State? Because I think they cover.
You pick Mississippi State, so we'll give you to cover. So it's against the spread. So
okay. I was just
State's
making sure. I didn't know if we was money lining it up because I'm, I like to bet. I always say I'm a Gamecock fan and whoever I got money on. So let's go.
Yeah,
love it. We get that. All right, man. Let's go to your Gamecocks here. They got Ole Miss. They got to go to the Vaught. They got to go to Vaught Hemingway in Oxford here. Gamecocks, man, tough loss last week against Alabama. Yeah. Lenore Sellers looked really dang good, though. He played a great game in that late fumble, which, unfortunate, kind of was controversial. Ole Miss is looking really good. Ole Miss looking like a playoff team, which is why they're favored by 13.5. Do you think that South Carolina can look a lot better this year than they did against Ole Miss last year? Can they pull the upset?
Oh, yeah. Hey, we taking the Cox. 13.5. Come on, man. We just almost beat them the Tide at home. I know we're going on the road, but, dude, as pretty as Ole Miss's campus and all that is, their stadium, they don't get that damn loud. So I think Sellers and the boys goes in there. I'm thinking we pull the upset, but we're going to definitely cover.
Bam. Hey, that's right. Cornbread special right there. We ain't picking against
right
the game.
Right there, baby. Bet the house on that. We ain't losing by 2 touchdowns. Come on. Our D-line, dude, that quarterback, he's going to be running for his life all day. He ain't going to be having that damn Ferris State magic or whatever the hell he went to damn D2 at.
He ain't never heard of Dylan Stewart, but he's about to hear about him.
I thought he about killed damn Simpson or whatever his name is from Alabama last week. Damn.
Yeah, that kid.
Stewart is a stud. He's a real stud.
Yeah,
so I love that,
man. Yeah, so Gamecocks, we gonna cover this
all day. Love it. All right, Hammer, take us to Neyland Stadium where Oklahoma headed to play the Vols.
Yeah, so this one probably the game of the weekend. I think it's the only ranked. Not Vandy in Texas. So this or Vandy in Texas probably the game of the weekend. But Oklahoma goes to Neyland, and I think I'm excited to see this one because both teams have 2 losses, right? And if you're thinking about trying to make the playoff, you probably can't have 3 losses. So both teams are like desperate to win and keep winning. Tennessee's favored by 3.5. What is your read on this game? You think the Sooners can go in there and keep it close, or is Tennessee too much for them?
I'll tell you, man. It's like watching Oklahoma all year, kind of like Auburn. Good defense, offense can't get it done. I think we're starting to see it unfold throughout the season. Oklahoma I don't think they can keep up with the big boys like we thought they could. So I think Tennessee has too much talent, and I think they're going to win by 10. So I think Tennessee covers. Yeah, they're going to win by more than 3.5. I got Tennessee at home, Neyland Stadium, 100,000 people. Oklahoma's going down. I'm sorry, Sooner fans, but not this year.
Yeah. No, I get it. You bring up a great point. I think, Oklahoma has a great defense, but, man, their offense has just been sputtering.
Yeah.
And Tennessee can score, so you better be able to score.
Exactly. I don't think they can keep up. I mean, did you watch that Kentucky game last week? They almost put up, 70 points almost?
Yeah.
I mean, Even when I watched Tennessee all year long, whoever they played against, I just what was that Mississippi State game? They should have blew them out of the water. But, you could just tell they just got a lot of talent on that team, on that roster, and I just think they're too much for Oklahoma.
That's what I'm most fascinated about in this game is that you've got the Oklahoma defense, which is very good, Brent Venables' coach, versus this Vols offense, which can put up – Josh Heupel, his offense has always put up points in a hurry. So which one breaks, and is Oklahoma able to keep up enough? Because Tennessee's going to score no matter what, even on a good Oklahoma defense. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, Heupel, he ain't going to run a score up on his alma mater. So it's going to be closer maybe what I think, but I definitely think they win by 3.5. So I'm going to say they win by 10. But Tennessee, I'm taking on that one.
Okay. Like it. All right. So this is our last game here, and then we'll have one more question for you before we get out of here. We got Kentucky headed to Jordan-Hare to take on Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze, this is like potentially the next fired coaches bowl almost because we've got Mark Stoops on the hot seat over here, and we got Hugh Freeze on the hot seat over here, and both of them seem to be just like dodging grenades, just going
For
through.
sure.
And everyone else is getting fired before them. So Kentucky has not looked very good this year. Cutter Boley, though, at quarterback, playing a lot better for Kentucky right now. Auburn made a change at quarterback last week. Jackson Arnold got benched. You now got Ashton Daniels, the Stanford transfer in for Auburn. And they're favored by 9.5, maybe because it's at Jordan-Hare. Pretty high spread. What do you think? Do you think Kentucky can get in there and get upset?
I tell you what, if this game happened probably 4 weeks ago, I'd take Auburn to cover that all day long. But Kentucky actually has looked pretty good the past couple of weeks, and Auburn just seems to be looks like maybe their players have done given up on Hugh Freeze. I don't know. I'm definitely, I'm not sure who's going to win this game, but I think it's really close. I'm taking Kentucky with the points. I don't think they lose by more than a touchdown. I think it's going to be a really close game.
I think that's fair. I don't know what to expect from Auburn with Ashton Daniels now, and they scored basically. I know they scored one defensive touchdown last week, and I can't remember if they scored two, but they at least got a second pick that they returned way deep in the red zone. So I still don't know if I trust this Auburn offense to cover.
I might take the under in this game for sure, but
yeah,
I think it's going to be closer than 9.5. So yeah, Kentucky. I'm taking the points in Jordan-Hare.
I like it. All right. Well, our last question for you here, man, before we let you get out of here, we ask all of our guests this. I'm going to put you on the spot. Your favorite biscuit spot. Do you have a favorite biscuit spot where you live? Or I can't remember. Are you in Columbia or where are you at?
So I live about an hour south of Columbia. I'm an hour from Augusta, Georgia. I'm about 2 hours of Charleston, South Carolina. I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere. I'm in a little town.
Love it.
I'm in a little
small town living.
Yes,
well, that's
sir.
why I set up my podcast room in my barn because it's like really cool. It's got the wood grain walls and I got all kind of cool shit hanging up in there. But I got to put a Wi-Fi box out there because every time I go in there, I can't get no signal when I'm inside. So I'm sitting in my damn kitchen. But
do what you got to do, man. But do you have a favorite diner where in your hometown, or do you got a favorite type of biscuits and gravy? Is it a homemade recipe?
I will tell you this. So I do actually, and so we only have. It's a really small town. It's probably about maybe 3,000 people live here. It's pretty small. We always have one fast food in town since I was a kid, and that was Hardee's. And Hardee's to me has the closest thing to a country breakfast as any fast food does. I love their biscuits, the sausage and egg biscuits plain. They got gravy, grits, they got all that. I just think it's the closest thing to an authentic country breakfast. I mean, I love my mom and pop places, man, but if we're talking, consistent since I was a kid growing up, it's like my first true love. Hardee's biscuits. Love them. Put some jelly on it. Damn.
I am 100% with you there, man. I love their chicken biscuit too. We actually used to get them on the way to school. Yeah, man. That
chicken biscuit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where you grew up at or wherever, if it's Carl's Jr.'s out in Texas or wherever. I'm not sure where y'all's actually from.
So we're half and half. We grew up in Texas until I was like 10 years old, and then we moved to Charlottesville, Virginia. And so we had Hardee's in Charlottesville in Virginia, actually.
Oh, hell yeah, you did.
So, yeah, no, it was good stuff. So I'll tell you a quick story, too. Because Virginia, right, like I played lacrosse. Hammer actually played lacrosse as well. We played football,
hell
too.
Yeah.
But I went up to so every time I go to Hardee's, I'd get a chicken biscuit and a sweet tea, right?
Yeah, you got to get the sweet tea.
Of course, man. It's the best. So
yeah,
I went up to a lacrosse camp north of the Mason-Dixon line. I was going to a lacrosse camp at Penn State over the summer, and I'd never had Hardee's across the Mason-Dixon line. Well, I go into Hardee's in rural Pennsylvania, and I asked him, I said, well, I just want a chicken biscuit and a sweet tea. And the woman looked at me like I had three heads, and she was like, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have chicken biscuits and we don't serve sweet tea here. And I was like, this is not Hardee's. What is this?
I know. What the heck, man?
Yeah. Can't call yourself Hardee's.
Well, I will tell you that on the opposite side of that, where I live at. So Hardee's stopped selling fried chicken probably 10 years ago. They tried to do a reband. Maybe it was 20 years ago. I don't know. And they tried to do the taco stuff. And they tried to, advertise their burgers more. But where I live at is so damn country. So this is like the only area that still sells Hardee's fried chicken. All the Hardee's around here.
There you go.
So you're living in the right place.
Because I remember being a kid after church. If we didn't feel like cooking on Sunday, my mom, you just pick up, and they got biscuits with the fried chicken, the same ones you get at Hardee's, the biscuits made from scratch. And my mom would always pick up the fried chicken from there. But man, I'll tell you, though, that Publix fried chicken's hard to beat, though. You ever had that?
Yeah, that's pretty
Dude, Publix.
Yeah.
And because I lived in Florida. Yeah, I moved and lived in Florida for a while, man. And, hey, they don't play when it comes around their Publix in Florida, man. They got their subs. Ooh.
Subs, yeah. That's what they always do on a boat day. They go out, they get their Publix subs, and then they get on the boat for hours. Yeah.
Hey, but a buddy of mine told me the best biscuit place he had, and I've seen a lot of them pop up, but it wasn't that. It wasn't the biscuit company. There's a place in West Virginia. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's a chain, or it's just
Tudor's Biscuit World.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
He told me. Shout out to Tyler out there. He told me that was the best because I've been seeing a lot of these biscuit companies popping up. Have y'all seen them? They're just popping up everywhere, like all right off interstates and stuff. Mm-hmm. I've never had them, but I believe Tudor's is what he was telling me.
Dang.
But is that how you say it? Tudor's, like rooter to the Tudor?
I think so.
T-U-R, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
And I will say, hey, I'm jealous of your mustache, big boss man.
Thank you,
man. So I shaved my face completely off after my birthday at the end of September, and I'm growing my back. It's starting to fill in a little bit, but I'll catch up with you pretty soon.
You're looking good, man. You got the chops. Yeah, come on.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to be jealous of anybody's facial hair. Is what you're rocking.
It's funny, man. Yeah, so I was telling y'all earlier, I was like, man, I got to run to the Halloween store, but it's been so rainy, and it's been rainy and cold the past few days, man. You just don't even kind of want to leave the house. And except I'll go get me a biscuit, you know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah, get you a
But yeah, I still don't know what I'm going to be for Halloween yet, man. I had a couple ideas, and I don't know. I might just go something simple and basic this year. Who knows?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, man, but I don't want to. I know you got to reveal it right on your Instagram, so we're not going to. You just reveal it when the time is right.
What do you think, man? How about I should do something like maybe do Superman, but put CV instead of S, like Cornbread Man or something? I don't know. Something
I like that. That's a good idea. Cornbread Man. That's great.
That's topical because
everybody was
Superman movie, I think, recently.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people, whenever I started, going viral on the internet, whatever, a lot of people, will tag me of dressing up as me for Halloween. And I was like, I got to think of something. They're like, you already dress up every day. I was like, oh, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Well, that great cowboy hat that you got, you look like Richard Petty, but I'm sure you've probably already been Richard Petty.
You know what? I've been Dale Earnhardt before. What I did was I went and bought one of those paint suits, the all white paint suits, and I printed out all the decals like the Burger King, Good Wrench, all that. It's me and my brother helped me with it. It took me a couple hours to make that costume, but I did win $500 costume contest. So I've always, man, when I was a little kid, I always liked to, for occasions, holidays, dress up. My mom always decorates for every season. She'll leave the damn Christmas tree up all year and just throw whatever season is on there and stuff like that. So I like to get creative, festive, and have fun. I just like to enjoy life, man. So I'm actually if any listeners live in the Greenville, South Carolina area, I'm hosting a karaoke party, costume contest. So Doc's Tavern in Greenville, South Carolina. It's a cool bar. They get a lot of cool musicians in there. A lot of people from Texas come and play there. But if anybody's watching this and live in the Greenville, South Carolina area, come hang out Friday for the Halloween party.
That's awesome, man. That sounds like a heck of a lot of fun, man. If I was going to be up there, I'd be at that for sure. And so we'll get you out of here, man. But check this out. Again, everybody, if you don't follow Orry Lee, Cornbread Cowboi right there, Cornbread Cowboi on X, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can RSVP, I think, to his karaoke party for Halloween that he just talked about. And then go get a shirt and a hat there at cornbreadcountryclub.com. And, man, just go follow him. He is a great follow on social media. So, Cornbread, man, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Great. We'll see you down the road. Good luck to the Gamecocks this weekend.
Yeah. I got one more thing to say before I go.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about them damn Gamecocks, baby?
How about it?
Spurs up.
Yes, sir.
Right,
thanks for coming on, man. You the man.
Oh, yeah.
See you later, brother.
Have a good one.
All right, man. All right, everybody. That was Cornbread Cowboi. Thank you so much to him for taking the time to come on tonight. That was a heck of a lot of fun. We got in a bunch of Week 10 picks and got to talk about everything under the sun, from biscuits to karaoke to the Gamecocks and much, much more. So, Hammer, we got a couple more games to get to. Let's get to a couple more games before we get to the end of our show here. Where did we leave off here? We left off at Ole Miss OU. So I think we got to go to the South Carolina game. I mean, how about that? Let's segue right from Cornbread Cowboi, our Gamecock fan, into Bama and South Carolina. Bama escapes at Williams-Brice, 29-22. It was tied up late in the game, but Bama ends up with the win. Again, escaping South Carolina for the second year in a row. What'd you take away?
Yeah, I was kind of kicking myself when I was watching this game, knowing that I had picked Alabama, because we talked about it coming into the game. We're like, this is a real tough spot for Alabama. They've played 4 ranked opponents in a row. South Carolina is a dangerous team, but it's not a big game, right? It doesn't have the big game feel. South Carolina's lost a bunch, and, so it's an easy look-ahead spot, especially when you got a bye week sitting on the back end of it. And that's kind of just what it looked like to me, was Bama. Not that they overlooked them. I just think it's a tough spot. You're on the road against, again, like a talented, kind of feisty South Carolina team that's got some losses. So you're probably not, I'll just be real with you, right? Like, Bama goes into Athens and beats Georgia. They were not up for the South Carolina game the same way they were. And that's just human nature. So I don't think I came away being too concerned, per se, with the overall performance, other than what our friend Rick just brought up, Mr. Captain Biscuit. The run game is concerning, because even Oklahoma, who could not run the ball up until the South Carolina game, didn't run it great, but found a little bit of running room against South Carolina. And, man, Alabama, 72 rush yards on 23 carries as a team. Just – it's not good. And, Ty Simpson might be good enough to shoulder that burden to this point, other than the FSU game, of course. But notwithstanding, like, he has shouldered that burden of not having a run game. That would concern me if I was a Bama fan, when I think about SEC title or playoff games, because it's a concern. Jam Miller's back. They still can't run the ball. Jeremy Bernard, he didn't lead the team in rushing this week like he did 2 weeks ago, but he might as well have. I mean, he had the game-winning touchdown on a jet sweep. So if you're Bama, you get the win. You go into a bye week. That's great. But, some concern on the run game moving forward. And then for South Carolina, man, just, our buddy Cornbread just brought it up. It's just been a tough year. They kind of had this game. That pick six early in the game really let Alabama, kind of off the hook early on. Yep. Wasn't even really Seller's fault. It wasn't a great throw, but, just a bobbled ball right to the Bama defender. And then I know it was kind of controversial, but that fumble, they're trying to – Bama just ties the game, right? And South Carolina, it's like, all right, here's our drive, guys. And they fumble. It's been a tough year. They've been finding ways to lose ball games like that, and it was tough to watch.
Yeah, there was that clip that came out, and the ESPN broadcast showed it, where Shane Beamer is just, exasperated on the sidelines. And I think in that one clip just encapsulates everything that's gone on this season for South Carolina, which it's just been a frustrating season. It's been a tough season in Columbia. It hasn't gone at all how they expected it to go. Starting the year off exactly where you left off last year at number 13 in the country. And it's just pretty much gone south. I mean, nothing has gone your way. You get blown out by Vanderbilt. You let one slip away against Alabama, and you got multiple other losses, in there as well. So, it just hadn't gone their way, especially with Lenora Sellers coming back. You're thinking, we're going to make a dadgum run. Going into this year, I was worried about the offensive line, still a concern. And obviously now as well, as you mentioned, the turnovers, right? You can't play a team like Alabama, even when they're not playing up to their potential in the run game and in a couple other areas. But a pick six, I mean, that's the difference in the game. 29-22, the difference in the game, a pick six, right? Like, their offense didn't beat you. you kind of beat yourself. You had
Yeah.
the late fumble, controversial, I know, but you also have an early pick six. And against Alabama has feasted on that for years and years and years, going all the way back to early Nick Saban days, all the way through his tenure and now into DeBoer's tenure. If you make mistakes like that against Alabama, they're going to make you pay. And that's exactly what happened in this game. So I'm with you, though, on the run game for Alabama. The run game for Alabama is a concern, especially as the competition levels up continually as we go throughout the season, right? If you make the SEC championship game and you run like that, you ain't going to win. Maybe Ty Simpson could throw for 4 TDs. Maybe he can cover it up, but I don't want to rely on that. I'm with Captain Biscuit. I'm with Rick. I want to be able to be multiple. I want to be able to beat you in multiple ways. Yeah, that's the truth, Mike. That has been the problem, and it's just, like deja vu every preseason. Oh, I don't know about the offensive line. Don't know about the offensive line, and it's been a massive issue this year as well. But yeah, for Alabama, that is what I would be worried about. Like Captain Biscuit, our friend Rick Wilmarth said, as the competition gets heavier into the SEC championship, if you get into the college football playoff, you're going to need that. You're going to need to be able to rely on that, because otherwise teams are just going to key in. And when the competition, you got to play Texas A&M. You got to play Ohio State, who has a great defense in the college football playoff. They're going to make you pay if you don't have a run game. So,
yeah. Well, another game, I'll kind of intro this and let you take it, but that game day, Vandy, we hadn't touched on this one. So game days in Nashville, Vandy, Mizzou. I'm interested to see your thoughts. This to me was just a kind of a weird game. I thought that neither team just looked definitely not in rhythm, and it's hard to say, I think some of that is credit to these defenses. I think both of these teams have pretty good defenses, and based on what Vandy had just done a week before to LSU, for Mizzou to do what they did was pretty impressive on defense. In fact, Missouri outgained Vanderbilt 376 to 275. So the Doors only had 275 yards. Without taking too much away, I'll say I think there was two things that really swung this game. It was the 4th and goal stop in the third quarter, right? Mm-hmm. So, how do you outgain somebody by 100 yards and score less points? Well, you get down to the goal line and you get zip out of it on the scoreboard. And that 4th down stop was big for Vandy. And then the fumble, that led to Vandy's touchdown, right? It's right. You're right about midfield. Missouri fumbles and you give Vandy a short field and they take advantage. And I think that speaks to the team that Vandy is. They won with not their best game, and they just kind of took advantage of the opportunities that were given to them, right? Oh, you're going to go for it on 4th and 2 from the goal to 4th and goal from the 2. Well, we're going to stop you. And our offense isn't humming. You fumble at midfield, we're going to take advantage. And it's kind of the game. What did you take away from it?
What you said, Vanderbilt took advantage of their opportunities. And I also think that this is a testament to the culture that Clark Lee has built, and they don't flinch. They're not playing their best game, but even still, they figure it out. They find a way to win, and they don't blink. And that is what championship teams are made of. We talked about it earlier in the show, at the top of the show, when we talked about LSU and Texas A&M, the culture and the discipline and the mentality that Coach Elko has instilled in the Texas A&M Aggies football team is completely different than what we've seen from the Aggies for 30 years, all the way going back to the early 2000s at the end of the R.C. Slocum era, where they would just fold. No longer. They don't fold. They don't blink. They believe they're the better team. They have confidence, and then they go out and show it, and they figure out ways to win. And A&M had to figure out the way to win against Arkansas. A&M's had to figure out ways to win. They had to do it against Notre Dame. Well, the same thing is happening with Vanderbilt. They did it last week against LSU, right? They made the plays they needed to win against a tough team. We know everything that's happened with LSU. We talked all about it at the top of the show, but LSU is still LSU, right? Like that's still the name on the chest. Like a lot of times, like getting off the bus for a team like Vanderbilt, you lose just by looking at LSU and knowing all the history and college football, royalty. Well, they're supposed to beat us, right? No, Clark Lee has this team very confident, and they just don't flinch and figure out ways to win. And that's exactly what they did in this game. They get that fumble late in the game at midfield, and they march right down, and they end up punching it in. And then you get a 17-10 win, right, against the Missouri team who's been scoring points. Like, they've at least for the most part, they've been scoring points up to this year. And last thing I'll say, and I'll let you, finish this one off. Bo Pribula getting hurt. That sucks. I hate that for Missouri fans. I hate seeing that. And we hope he gets better real soon. But for Mizzou going forward, that's tough. Like, I just don't see a whole lot more wins out there after that. Matt Zollers isn't bad. He's just a freshman. He's talented. He's just a freshman. So anyway, go ahead.
No, that's spot on. I mean, I think Zollers filled in admirably. I'm interested to see, kind of where it goes. And like you said, that's just tough for Mizzou. Pribula was having a good year. And that's the second. I mean, take you back to week one. Most people probably forgot this. That was a 2-quarterback race between Pribula and Sam Horn. And they both got time week one, and Horn broke his leg or tore, I can't remember, done for the year in game one. So then it was sort of Pribula from here on out. And so they've lost their top 2 guys. I mean, this is not just the backup. This is going to the third stringer true freshman. So we'll see. Maybe he can do some things. He didn't look bad. I thought he for getting his first action, I thought he, did about as good as he could, honestly, in that scenario against a good Vandy team. But yeah, real tough to see. Hopefully, I've seen some reports that it might not be as bad as they thought, right? With him getting, air casted and all that. It doesn't seem that it's maybe that bad. I still wouldn't expect him to come back this season. Would be unlikely, I think. But at least it's hopefully not a big overhaul surgery type of deal for him. And so hopefully he can, doesn't have too long of a rehab in front of him. But we got Texas and Auburn. Who do you want to go to?
Well, let's go to Auburn, because I think we finished with the Texas game. That one's pretty insane. But hey, Auburn gets their first SEC win. Hugh Freeze survives another week, and still the head coach at Auburn University. And the other part of this, I think, I'll start it off here. Arkansas just shot themselves in the foot continuously, just bop, 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 just over and over again, shot themselves in the foot in this game, which is why they only scored 24 points. Multiple possessions ended in turnovers. I think they had 4 turnovers in this game. Got 3 Taylon Green picks, including 1 for a pick 6. So, that was not good. I think that this game probably starts to tamp down and quiet down the Arkansas fan base about, Bobby Motorbike getting the job here. You can't lose. This Auburn team's been on their heels. Like, you just can't lose to them like that. So anyway, give me your thoughts on this game and how this one went.
Yeah, I think, to give Auburn credit, they ran the ball well, which everyone has been able to do against Arkansas. So it's not some major feat or accomplishment, but I give them credit because we've been talking about it for years now. But man, Hugh Freeze doesn't seem to want to commit to the run, even if it is working. He likes to get away from it, and in this game, he didn't. They ran the ball 50 times for 230 yards. I think they only threw 20 passes maybe. So it was very heavily skewed, offensively, percentage-wise, to running the football, which they deserve credit for doing that, especially when they've abandoned it in the past. And then, yeah, kind of what you said. I think the Bobby P experiment is done. I think this is a game, if you lose to Auburn, just like you lost to A&M or like you lost to Tennessee, that's one thing. But it's how they've been losing. Because in the Tennessee game and in the Auburn game, they lost the turnover battle by a wide margin, and we're close. The A&M game, I don't think either team had a turnover. That was just a back-and-forth game. You lost. But there's 2 games that now that if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, they probably win, and they just weren't able to do it. Now, I think Auburn's defense deserves some credit here. That's a good defense. They took advantage. They forced turnovers. They have pick 6. So they did some good things. But, yeah, ultimately, I don't feel much better about Auburn moving forward from this. Ashton Daniels, we'll see. Again, I think he threw 8 passes. So he didn't really do a whole lot through the air. He just kind of steadied the ship and didn't make any mistakes, unlike his counterpart Arnold, who obviously threw the pick 6. But I don't feel that much better about Auburn, and I think Arkansas. This now feels like the Bobby P experiment is over, and I don't know what the rest of their remaining schedule looks like, but they might be on quit watch.
Yeah, there it is. So they lose to Auburn this weekend. Yeah, Mississippi State this weekend, which we talked about with Cornbread.
Yeah,
Cornbread Cowboi, and hey, that's an easily losable game. Mississippi State has been right there with Florida. They were right there with Texas, which we'll get to in a second. LSU, I mean, basically that their season's done. So
who knows?
Who knows? Texas should beat you, and then Mizzou also. Who knows? So there's games out there you can win. It's not 100%, but it's just moving up that way. And then flip side here, let's go to Auburn's schedule for just a second. You get Kentucky this weekend, you get Vanderbilt, you get Mercer, and then Alabama. And I know Alabama's a much better team this year, but gosh, we've seen this a million times. The Iron Bowl is always absolutely insane, as we read in our friend Jay Busby. His book, Iron in the Blood. If you guys haven't gotten that, Rick, our friend, he got his copy. I think he told me, yeah, there it is. I got my book. Captain Biscuit.
Love it. Finally.
Go check out Iron in the Blood. That is an awesome book. It's been out now for a good while, but with the Iron Bowl coming up, good time to mention it and get a copy. But anyway, Auburn, yeah, I mean, there's some potential wins out there, but Vandy looks dadgum good. You got to go to Nashville. You get Alabama at home in Jordan-Hare, which is nice. But yeah, I'm still with you. I don't feel very good about what's going on with Hugh Freeze. And the other part about it too is I just, if it's Ashton Daniels going forward, what we saw from him, at least in the Arkansas game, they might be one-dimensional. This might become an option team, not an old school option team, but hey, read options. We're throwing 12 passes a game, 15 passes a game kind of team, where we're just going to try and run it down your throat and see what happens. And if that happens, honestly, I don't think they beat Alabama. I don't think they beat Vanderbilt. I could see a situation where Jackson Arnold comes back in just to try to throw the dadgum ball, even though we know his issues throwing the ball.
Yeah, that's possible. But again, as I brought up before, I think Auburn does a lot better when they do run the ball. So I don't even know if that's a bad thing, because I know, look, hey, you probably got boosters behind you yelling in your ear saying throw the ball, because we're paying these two dudes over $1 million a piece in Singleton and Coleman, at least reportedly. But I don't know, man. Yeah, you got talent on the outside. You just don't have talent behind center. You can't get him the ball. So if you could run the ball with Ashton Daniels and throw it 12 times a game, do it, Hugh. You don't have breathing room to be doing things that don't work, dude. You got to figure it out. Yeah,
just win.
I mean, I don't know what he needs to do to save his job or how close that is, but you showed the schedule. There's some winnable games. Vanderbilt feels tough. Bama feels tough, but they could get to a bowl. So
yeah.
Just win.
By the way, if you didn't watch this game and you didn't see the catch that Cam Coleman had in the first quarter, go find that on Twitter, because that catch was unbelievable, and that kid is an unbelievable talent. So, all right, let's I think Tennessee and Kentucky. Tennessee absolutely crushed the Wildcats. They gave up 34 points, but I don't think there's much to talk about here, except for the Vols can score a ton of points. The Vols are still very good. They're 6-2 now, I believe.
Yep.
And Kentucky, Cutter Boley's playing much better. So I don't discount Kentucky at this point, in any of these games. I think Mark Stoops is really teetering on the edge there in Lexington. So another coach that needs to win a bunch of games, but I don't think we need to spend much time on that one. So let's go to Texas and Mississippi State. Texas in this game had a 1.6% chance. I double-checked that again today. 1.6% chance, down 17 in the middle of the fourth quarter, and they mount one of the most improbable comebacks that we have seen in a long time and just rip the hearts out of the chests of Mississippi State fans everywhere. And sorry to our friend Rivers Huey. That was a tough one. And I know they're getting frustrated with Jeff Lebby, but I also think that Mississippi State fans are still behind him. They haven't been close like that in some of these games. They remember Zach Arnett. That was not that long ago.
Yeah.
When you had a bad Texas A&M team just absolutely kick dirt all over you in Kyle Field. So he's got him close, but you just got to finish these dadgum games. And why are you punting the ball to Niblett? Why on earth are you punting the ball to Ryan Niblett for Texas? So crazy comeback. Congratulations to Texas. But, yeah, what were your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of nailed it. I think there's a lot you could say about Texas even being in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And some decisions on the Mississippi State side that allowed Texas to ultimately come back and get this win. You brought up the punting to Niblett. That was a bad decision. They were also still running tempo, even though they had a, multiple score lead. But I don't know. Look, that's second guessing because that's what they run. So if they're going to get out of it, maybe Lebby thinks if we don't do that, we're just going to go 3 and out. And it's, if we're going to sustain a drive, we have to go tempo. I don't know what the thought process is, but obviously when you run tempo and then go 3 and out, you're in trouble. So that was an interesting decision. But even though we're Aggies and I think there's warranted smack to talk to Texas again for even being in this situation where they had to have this improbable comeback, I'm going to go ahead and give them some credit here because in a road environment like that, down whatever they were, 17, 24 points, for them to come back shows at the very least some mental toughness. We've been talking about that with a lot of teams, A&M, Vanderbilt, Bama. And to this point, I'll be honest, I didn't know if Texas had it. I mean, I know they got the overtime win against Kentucky, but that felt like more so Kentucky handing them the game than this. Mississippi State did some things that were questionable, but Texas had to go make plays and take this, and they did. And I don't know what that means. I guess similar to what I said about Auburn, I don't leave this game feeling any better about Texas because of all the issues that led to them being in that situation. But I at least was impressed with their, resiliency and their competitiveness because given where the expectations were for them preseason and all the justifiably so, but all the heck they have caught for how they have played, that very much felt like a game where a lesser team lays down. All right, We're down to Mississippi State. The cowbells are ripping. We don't have a chance, and let's just get the heck out of here.
Piling on to us.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they didn't do that. So they deserve credit. Like I said, I don't know that it means anything for the rest of their season, but they kept their season alive for another week. And it was a heck of a win. And Arch Manning looked better. I don't know if he'll play this week after the concussion, but he made some plays in this game. So, they can't run the ball worth a darn still, but hey, you needed a big second half comeback, big fourth quarter comeback. And Arch showed up. So good for them.
Yeah, no, he did show up. He looked, it was one of the best games, if not the best game that he's played all season. Right. And he had to really get it going in the second half for that to happen. But he did. He got it going, and I hope he's okay after the concussion. I hope he can come back this week. This is Texas's remaining schedule here. We got to update our graphics on our win losses, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But you got Vanderbilt this week, which we talked about with Cornbread Cowboi. Then you got Georgia, Arkansas, and A&M. So I mean, it's tough to end the year. I mean, look, Arkansas. We've talked a lot about them. If they stop shooting themselves in the foot, I mean, I think they can play with Texas from what we've seen from Texas so far. I mean, they just went to overtime with Kentucky and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Georgia should be favored, especially since you got to go to Athens. I'm surprised Vanderbilt's not favored in Austin. And then you got Texas A&M, who looks like, I mean, they're number 3 in the country right now. They're probably going to the college football playoff. They haven't punched their ticket yet, but they're dadgum close to doing that. I think that we'll see what happens the next 3 weeks. Maybe Texas pulls off some crazy upset. Maybe they beat Vandy. Maybe they pull an upset against Georgia or something. But right now, if the game was played this week, A&M is favored in Austin, probably by 6 points or something. So maybe not because it's a rivalry game. But, either way, Texas has a tough remaining schedule. So hopefully for Texas fans, this gives them, a little bit of of juice going the rest of the way because the schedule is not easy. And, schedule early on this year, preseason, looking at it, people were thinking pretty easy. Well, turned out it hasn't been for this team. Vanderbilt, a much better team than people, originally expected going into this year. Really, I think because of just history, right? Like I was down on them. I've said it. I've put my hand up. Go check out our Twitter. I've issued my apology to Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt Commodores. But a lot of others were thinking they were going to go 6-6 or something as well. So, all right, man. Well, let's close this sucker out. We're about to get to an hour and a half here. Free football here at Biscuits and SEC. We love doing that for you guys. We don't really have a new biscuit of the week this week. So what we'll do is first start with our must champ coach of the week. Then we'll get to our biscuit of the week, and it'll just be a replay of one that we did last week with Popeye Hammer. So our must champ coach of the week here, there was, again, always a couple coaches that we could have gone to this week. Clark Lee, again, in the running for getting a big win against Mizzou and having his team ready to go. Could have been Hugh Freeze this week for getting a big win against the Arkansas Razorbacks. But instead, we went a different way. And I do think that there's always one coach that rises to the top here. And if you're new to Biscuits and SEC, if you're coming over from Cornbread's feed or somewhere else, we love Coach Muschamp here. This is not a joke. We love his passion for the game. We love his players who love him and always have. He's punching whiteboards. He's got blood running down his face. He's headbutting players. He's screaming at refs. And also quips with the media. Always had a good quip with the media, had a good rapport with them. So we love Coach Muschamp here. We love to give out a Muschamp Coach of the Week to the coach that exemplifies that passion for college football and for his team, for his fan base every single week. So there's typically one that rises to the top. Cream rises to the top every week. And this week it was Coach Mike Elko from Texas A&M for putting that, as Hammer liked to put it, and others, belt to ass of the LSU Tigers. So here is Coach Elko's halftime speech that might make you want to run through a wall, just like Coach Muschamp used to do. Here it is.
If you want to win a football game on the road, you got to start playing winning football, right? Winning football means no penalty, right? Stop killing ourselves with drives. It means no turnovers. Protect the football. It means create turnovers on defense. And it means we've got to tackle on defense. You do those things, you will run them out of the building. 2 turnovers, a punt block, kill drives, extended drives, missed tackles, and they're up 4. You're the better team, but if you don't play winning football, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter if you don't play winning football. They were down 18-14 at halftime, and I know myself, I know that you were too. I was going to a friend's house at this time. I'm watching it on my phone going into halftime, and probably shouldn't have done that. Thank God I didn't get pulled over by an officer, but it's all good. We made it safely, and I was just yelling in my car like, Elko better be lighting a fire under these dadgum kids, because that was a joke of a first half. He pointed out all of it. 2 interceptions, interception in the red zone. Punt gets blocked. You drop an interception. You got a roughing the – an unnecessary roughness on the sideline from Des Ricks that extends the drive and lets LSU score later. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're the better team. He gave a very Coach Muschamp-like halftime adjustment speech, and then A&M came out in the second half and absolutely went crazy on LSU. So congratulations to Mike Elko, your Muschamp Coach of the Week. We'll be sure to send him the plaque, the certificate in the mail, and potentially a trophy within the next 5 years.
Yep, I'm sure he will. He will appreciate that. And yeah, that speech looked like my text thread, because I was attending a wedding. I was a guest at a wedding this past weekend, and so I'm keeping up with the score just on my app, and I'm getting texts from Bossman over here, and that's what he's saying. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. We're the better team. We should be crushing these guys. Like it's totally, totally, we're letting them off the hook type of thing. And Elko saw the same stuff. So yeah, Elko, he's got some passion. He's had some good speeches. I think this is his second, maybe third win, but definitely second. Didn't he win when he threw the chair earlier this year?
Correct. At Notre Dame, when he went in Notre Dame, he's just ripping his defense up and down the line, and then he takes the chair and just throws it on the sideline. That is a must-champ move if I have ever seen one, a WWE must-champ move. So, yeah, definitely his second win. We're going to have to get an archive of all the must-champ coaches of the week. But, yeah, congratulations to Mike Elko. That was a heck of a halftime speech, and obviously it worked.
It did.
You're right. I was firing off some angry texts after that first half, and I shouldn't have been worried about it, man. It's a different year. It's a different year at Texas A&M, but the problem is sometimes as an Aggie, you've been looking down, you're staring into the abyss because you've seen this in Death Valley how many times since we entered the SEC.
Oh yeah, scars are deep.
Yes.
The wounds take a while to heal for sure. But
that's the truth.
Yeah.
All right,
Mike Elko.
Let's run it back here. Biscuit of the week. This was Hammer last week at Bindle Coffee Company in Fort Collins, Colorado. And like I said, whatever they got in these biscuits, man, they're putting in a whole bunch of whey protein and some creatine because whatever Hammer's doing on that pre-workout seems to be working. No wonder he has a fiance and is soon getting married because he's driving a van there and looks like he's been pumping a whole lot of iron with Tommy Moffitt over there and getting swole with that biscuit, and that biscuit looks dadgum good too.
The biscuit's great. It's got a little bit of jalapeno in it, bacon, egg, and cheese with throw some spinach on there. Actually, there is, so it is kind of the Popeye. So there's some spinach on there, and then they put a green chili, sauce that's fantastic. Yeah, and I am on the Moffitt method if anyone's wanting it.
Yeah. I've taken my leave of absence from the Moffitt method, but I need to get back on it. And of course, it has spinach on it in Colorado, but we'll give them a pass on that. It obviously is working for Hammer. So anyway, that is your biscuit of the week this week. We'll have a new one next week. We just had to get everything ready for Cornbread Cowboi tonight. So thank you again to Cornbread for joining the show tonight. We had a lot of fun with him. Again, if you guys missed it earlier in the show, go follow him on social media at Cornbread Cowboi. You can follow him on X and Instagram as well as on YouTube. He does a ton of great and hilarious shorts. We've been following him for years. Love his content. And he also has a great merch shop at cornbreadcountryclub.com. So be sure to go check out the shirts and hats and koozies and keychains and everything else he has there, which is some really, really cool stuff. So anyway, that is going to do it for us here at Biscuits and SEC Live for our 57th show. We are presented here by the Steer Agency. Don't forget, sign up for the Morning Biscuits newsletter right there. Every Monday, every Friday, written by Hammer and myself, coming to you everything you need to know about the SEC. Injury reports going into the weekend, recaps from the weekend, all the latest news, all the greatest news. We talked a lot about the Brian Kelly firing this week. We talked a lot about the Billy Napier firing the week previously. So be sure to sign up for that. Free, as always, Morning Biscuits newsletter, biscuitsandsec.com/newsletter. Also, we will be on SEC After Dark, tomorrow night. Every Thursday, we are on SEC After Dark to make our picks. And also, you can check out, he was on live this morning, I saw on our channel. So our friend Mike Huseman of Off Season After Dark typically comes out on Tuesday mornings, but sometimes on Wednesdays. Be sure to go follow him. He does a fantastic job, and it goes all the way through the season as well. So he's still doing content. Had a great show this week. Be sure to also check out Jake Thomas, Bama After Dark 2. You can follow him on Twitter at that handle, and then also he comes out Tuesdays, sometimes on Wednesdays. But be sure to check him out. He does a great job covering the Tide. And then the Regular Guys podcast with Corey Burton and Israel Troop. They do a good job as well. Check their Twitter for when that is going to be going up. So that will do it for us. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys tomorrow night for SEC After Dark to make our picks. Adios.
Appreciate y'all.